troubling story out of New York State has shocked and saddened the country this weekend. Social media sensation Peanut the squirrel was euthanized and seized by the New York State officials. According to the Department of Environmental Conservation, the squirrel was rescued when he was just a baby by Mark Longo after its mother was killed by a car. Mark Longo has been Peanut's guardian for 7 years and went viral for creating these really cute social media videos showing him and Peanut bonding, bringing a smile to everyone's face. Peanut was quite the little celebrity. Of course, some do-gooders on the internet decided this was no good. And of course, the government would also have none of that. When the government couldn't bear to see the joy Peanut was bringing to people or the important issue that Longo was bringing up by starting a nonprofit called Peanut's Freedom Farm, which would help orphaned animals and rehabilitate them, of course the government was going to intervene. So New York government officials shows up at Longo's home, barge in, treat him like a criminal. They euthanize Peanut for fear that this little squirrel had rabies. This government overreach has angered many, and many Americans are demanding justice for Peanut. How can we stop more examples of government overreach from happening? I don't know that we will, but it's certainly opening up a lot of eyes. Joining us now, political commentator George Behizy. George, I know we were talking about this over the break. I'm sorry I'm bringing you on to talk about a squirrel, but I think it's important to demonstrate just how ridiculous we have gotten as a nation, as a government, as a people.
Well, I didn't think a squirrel would be tilting the election to Trump and turning it into a landslide, but here we are. Yeah, it proves that when government
the October surprise.
Yeah, this is our October surprise. That's actually so funny. Yeah, this is a prime example of when government bureaucracies run out of good things to do. Well, they never really do any good things, so they make up things on the fly. Yeah, let's just go kill a squirrel. Let's go euthanize this squirrel.
Yeah.
Testing it for rabies.
I know that you're on this space a lot. You've got a lot of commentary about this on your own feed. Don Jr., RFK Jr., Elon Musk, they've all rallied around Longo, the owner. But it reminds me of that meme. It's this perfect example of here's the government. You have illegal immigration happening over here. You have just crime running amok everywhere. You have fentanyl flooding our streets, and then the government's just this blind man walking down the street with a stick. All of a sudden you have a squirrel, pet squirrel, and suddenly you've got a gigantic telescope aimed at this house. It's a ridiculous illustration.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are waking up. They've been watching Elon for months say we need to shut down some of these government agencies. Vivek Ramaswamy has been saying it. We need to shut it down. And I think people are finally realizing, we do need to shut it down because they'll just barge into your house, take your squirrel that you rescued and kill. So a good amount of people are waking up because of a squirrel. But this demonstrates that God is with us in this movement because the Bible says God uses the foolish things of the world to confine the wise. And I think a lot of wise people are realizing for the first time through the death of a squirrel that the government has grown too powerful and too destructive. And it's time to alter that government before it destroys us. Finally.
Well, another tragic example, certainly not the same scale, but another tragic example of just our government focusing on all the wrong things, and in this case, the media focusing or not focusing on the right things. You drew attention to a story out of Georgia, and it shows how hollow the left really is, right? After being outraged over Tony Hinchcliffe's comments about Puerto Rico.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.